Guys, normal service has resumed. I'm back at Into Moto. This is today's bike that I'm taking out. So this is the Lambretta V200. Yes, it's winter. The leaves are on the floor. It's not actually that cold, so I should be all right today having a little ride of this. Let's have a look round the usual way. There you've got the close-up. Now this bike is absolutely gleaming. It looks like a brand new bike, but it is actually a used model. I say used, it hasn't got a lot of miles on the clock. It has got currently 770 odd miles on the clock. Used, but barely. I do like the paint job, love the black stripes. There's a nice little extra as well. It's got the Tasso Works exhaust on. I haven't ridden it yet, but I've heard the noise from this exhaust and it sounds quite beefy. Nice big step through area there. And the classic Lambretta face. It's got a 770mm seat height, so suitable for a shorter rider and flat feet both sides. Yeah, feels quite comfortable. The seat feels quite hard. It's not as spongy as I thought it was going to be. Weight wise on this, it's a little over 86 kilograms. It's a light scooter. 86 kilograms, embarrassingly, is lighter than me. Shocking. But you can see how it transfers. Just pushing the bike around, it's really easy to do. Slightly uphill here, but pushing it, little to no effort. Very easy if you're looking for a light bike to move around. Easy to put on the centre stand as well, just stand on it, easy. Does have the side stand as well. When you look at these stands, they just, again, they don't have a lot of wear and tear to them. Very little use on this bike with only just over 700 miles. Do like the seat colour. The red seat goes really well with the, it's like an off-white paint job. This bike is from 2019. So it's pretty much a 5-year-old bike that only has 770 odd miles on the clock. So less than 150 miles a year since it's been registered. Not a lot of miles that. The bike looks brand new. Ah, nice bit of storage there. Let me grab my helmet, see if it's going to fit in. Before I do that, fuel wise, this has got a 6.5 litre fuel tank, but as we all know, these scooters, they're light. You'll get a lot of miles out of it for that. I've got quite a big head. The helmet is quite large, and I'm being lazy. I'm not taking my camera off, but even without the camera, it's not going in. It's too wide. So whilst I think it would fit a small full face helmet in, my extra large head helmet is not fitting in that. You shouldn't have any issues with a smaller helmet. The single disc brake at the front, same again at the rear, and I believe this one is a 175cc with a belt drive. This bike is currently up for sale with Into Moto for £2,899. Is that a used bike bargain? Well, I don't know at this moment in time till I go out and ride it. What I will say is aesthetically, this bike looks absolutely mint. It looks like a brand new machine. If it rides as good as it looks, then 100% it's a used bike bargain. But I won't know that until I get the wheels moving. So let me get myself ready. Let's go for a ride. This bike does need a key. None of that keyless stuff. And as you'd expect really from, I'm gonna say a classic scooter. I know it's a modern scooter. Just carry on chatting while I'm putting my gloves on. I know it is a modern scooter, and this hasn't got gears. It is a rev and go. However, it is trying to be a classic looking scooter, and I think it's a nice looking thing. Let me know in the comments what you think. But buttons wise, there isn't ever going to be a great deal going on with this style of bike. You have got literally your horn, your indicators, high and low beam on your left side, right side, just an engine start and like a set button. So I'm guessing that is to alter any clock or anything that's on screen here. Speaking of which, let's start it up. Oh, it's very nice. So I got a good afternoon and a drive safe. The rain's coming. I like this actually. So it's very similar to the 125 Lambretta that I've been on. You've got your speedo going across the top. You've got this little digital bit here, which you've got a bit of info. You've got a fuel gauge, you've got your battery volt, you've got clock, total miles. So 776 it's currently on. It'll get a little bit higher than that. I won't do many miles today, but I need to give it a proper ride. And that exhaust does sound a little bit fruity. There is a digital rev counter there. I don't know my thoughts on that. I don't see a point. I like to see kind of the counter that has like a meter, so you can see from start to finish. Whereas that, with it just being numbers, you're kind of thinking, well, what's the end number? What's the low number? What? I don't know. I just don't get it. What's the point of it? Let's go for a ride. And I'm fine. See, this was annoying. I'm finding myself looking at that as opposed to the speedo, which is more important. It does sound pretty beefy though with that exhaust on. I say beefy, it sounds it sounds alright. Now, one of the guys in the workshop at Into Moto has said to me, are you going to do a speed test on it? And I wasn't planning on doing a speed test on it, because in my eyes, scooter, is anyone bothered about the high speed performance of a scooter? I don't know, but it got me thinking, and yeah, I'm gonna go and do one. Sod it, I'll give it a little blast. We'll see what it's like, see what kind of speed I can get out of it. I say what kind of speed, I'm obviously going to stay within legal requirements, but we'll see. I'll do my usual speed test where I can give it a little bit of a run up to 60 and see how quickly it does it. It's very annoying now actually where that rev counter is. The rev counter is actually drawing my eyes every single time I look down because it's constantly changing, whereas that's the important one, telling me how fast I'm going. Let's open it up a little bit. I do love the ease of riding these, you know. I expected it to feel a little bit quicker, and that's just because I've been on the 125 before, and the 125, or the V125 Special I think it was I went on, that bike was very, very nippy, and it seemed, at the time it seemed quick, because when I went on that bike I did a bit of a comparison against the Royal Alloy, the 125 version, and the Lambretta did seem to have a little bit more go. And my understanding is that these do use the sim engines, and I believe this is a sim engine as well. And I've always found sim scooters and their engines to be quite good performing ones. And this, it just feels smooth, rather than like grab you by gentleman sausage and kind of throwing you back and forth, or giving you a bit of an accelerating feeling when you give it full beans. It's not really doing that. It just seems to pick up speed gradually. So I think I do need to do a performance test just to see, because this is a bigger CC than the 125s that I would ordinarily do the performance test with. And I can't remember if it's something like 170cc. I don't know. It's around the 170cc mark. So I do find calling it a V200 is a bit misleading. You kind of think, oh, it must be a 200cc, but it's not. It's kind of a bit sneaky, really. Some scooter sneakerage. Sneakerage, I know it's not a word, but it should be. It seems good enough for a bit of lane splitting, a bit of filtering around the town. Scooters are always, for me, the best at that, because they are quite narrow and they are very light as well. And this is no difference. I mean, the scooter weighs less than I do. I think that's more embarrassing for me. But I'm going to start a diet again this week. I think it's going to be another long slog of not eating and exercising. It needs to be done. I feel like I'm doubling in size every time I look at myself on camera. So for a traffic light scramble, it gets up to 30 mile an hour as quick as a decent 125cc bike would. So I am going to be curious actually, because it feels just alright. It doesn't feel particularly quick. I've been on quite a few scooters recently and they felt quite sprightly, and this doesn't. I don't know whether it's just because of the way the power is delivered and it just delivers in such a smooth way. I think it might be that. I don't know, we'll see. I'll do my usual speed test. We'll do the usual get it up to 60 mile an hour before the bend in the road. I would like to think it's going to do that easily because of the extra cc's, but the initial ride down here, it doesn't feel particularly quick. But it can be deceiving sometimes. If you're on a particularly comfortable bike, I don't think you feel the speed quite as much as what you do on a bike that's a little bit harsher on the suspension, for instance. So it may well be that it's just lulling me into a false sense of comfort, and I'm not feeling the speed that way. So we'll see. Recently went on a two-stroke Vespa. Now the two-stroke Vespa actually felt a little bit quicker than this. It was a little bit more of a faff because you had the gears and things, whereas this is a little bit easier. But that two-stroke did feel quicker. I'm on a national speed limit road and I'm full throttling, and it has picked up speed, but looking at the speed I'm going now, I'm going 55 mile an hour. It's indicating the rain has started, winter is here. People have commented about this being a dangerous place to stop over and people maybe not seeing me. Oh, I forgot about that Vespa beep when you're going round with your indicator on. I'm going to do this as a rolling start, I think. So I'm doing 20 mile an hour. No, in fact, sod it. There's no cars behind me. Oh, there is one car behind me, but he's seen me pull over. Right, stop there, right on my usual place. I don't want to stay here for long. Nothing's coming, let's go. No messing, no stopping. So what I'm looking for is to get to 60 mile an hour before I get to the sharpest bend on the left, which is coming up. I'm at 55. No, it hasn't made it. That's surprising. So it is only indicating 55 miles an hour. See if we can get to 60 on the straight. This is where a lot of the 125s do it. And yes, that is actually, I'm going to slow down because the wind, but that is actually very average. Disappointingly average. Now it did get to 60 miles an hour, or an indicated 60 miles an hour, but it got to 60 mile an hour pretty much where a lot of the average 125cc bikes get to 60 mile an hour. So that has actually shocked me, because I thought with the extra power it was certainly going to be up there with the better performing 125cc bikes, but no, it's kind of with the average 125cc bike. So the extra cc's on this bike doesn't appear to have made much difference. How strange. And I do say how strange, because when I've been on the 125cc version, that feels quite nippy, and in the UK this engine size is a bit awkward. Let me just run it down for the non-English or the non-British. 125cc bikes you're allowed to go on at age 17. You're not allowed to go on a bike of this size. Anything above 125cc you're not allowed on until you're older. It will do 60 mile an hour. Okay, if I was to have a race with a 125cc, it will probably hold its own, but it's certainly not as quick as the faster 125cc bikes that I've been on. It's not as fast as those, and if you look at my back catalogue, there's a few that have now got up to 60 mile an hour on that stretch, in particular the sporty 125s. This, however, with an extra 50cc-ish, has not got to 60 mile an hour by that bend. It did get to 60 though, and I know I'm really the speed test is just a bit of fun really for me, doing it on a scooter, because you don't go and buy a scooter if you want to go out there and do races or be the fastest. You don't, but you just want it to be fast enough to do a national speed limit road, and this does it. It will do 60 mile an hour. It was picking up speed at 60 mile an hour, so it may do a little bit more than that, albeit the way it picked up speed and slowed down a hell of a lot. It seemed to get to 50 mile an hour quite quickly though. Got to 50 mile an hour, I would say faster than the average 125cc, but then it just seemed to take an age to get from 50 to 60, and I needed to have the downhill straight assist to actually get there. So yeah, I mean, it's quick enough, a little short bursts like that to get past traffic. But anyway, speed test aside, let's talk about the plus side of this bike, the things I like. So comfort being one of them. It is a nice, comfortable bike to ride. The seat is lovely. I've got loads of room in front of me. If you've got longer legs, however, I mean, you can move back quite a bit. You can put your feet forward, but you don't have the usual, like the highway position that you get on the modern looking scooters where you can stretch your leg out. You don't have any of that. But still, that aside, you've got a couple of inches, you can move your feet back and forth, so you've got a couple of different positions, and yeah, you sat up nice and straight. The mirrors are all right, I can see what I need to. The storage under the seat, as you've seen on the walk round, not a bad bit of storage under the seat. It wouldn't fit my full face helmet in, but you would get a little bag in there. So, you know, if you just nip into the shops to pick up some bits, maybe you get a little shopping bag in there, so you're all right with that. It might not be the fastest bike in the world, but it has got a nice grunty sound. So it's just got that scooter, twist it, get loads of noise, and it just picks up speed smoothly. The noise suggests you're going a lot faster than what you are, but it's all right. It's a nice scooter to go out on. What do you think of these? Let me know in the comments. I am always curious what you guys think. I'm of a certain age now where I am drawn mainly towards the classic looking scooters. I like the modern ones. I love the practicality of them because you tend to get more storage under the seat, but I like the look of these classic ones. Oh, sorry, classic looking ones. I don't want the classic Lambretta people to start shouting at me, but I do. I prefer the look of these and the style of these. Going, oh, a little popping from the exhaust there, wow. I like that. Going around the bends, it's nice and comfortable. There's not really a lot to call it on this bike because it is comfortable on the straights. These roads in the UK, you can see they're like a patchwork quilt. There's always holes in the road. They're very like up and down. They're not the best, and this suspension on this is lovely. It's just floated me over all of it. When it comes to going around the bends, it's a nice bike to just tilt over a little bit, and it just wafts around the bends as well. Now you can see a lot of leaves on the road, so I am being more cautious than I perhaps would have if it was perfectly dry, but I'm still doing normal road speeds and keeping up with traffic, and yeah, it's doing a good job. And when you want to pick up speed, it's not doing it quickly, it just does it smoothly, so just remember that as well. It's not like a geared bike where you can down gear, give it a little bit and the speed picks up quicker. This is a rev and go, so when you do rev it, there's no like gears as such. You don't get a drop down in gears and it picks up speed quicker. It just picks up speed at a leisurely pace. Can you hear that? Sounds like a truck reversing from distance, but it is just alerting me that the indicator is being left on. Now that was something that I found the longer I rode the 125cc version. That was something that I found really frustrating after a while. I don't think they know where they're going, but yeah, I found it frustrating. But I can see it from a new rider point of view, that if that's beeping at you, you're going to turn your indicators off. So it is actually a really helpful thing, and it does alert you to turn your indicator off. It's just, yes, there's lots of beep 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 beep. Oh, there is no engine cut off. I've got to use the key. Okay, let's summarize then. For the money, is it good value? Well, I would say yes, only because a new one of these would cost you well over £3,000, if not like running close to 4, I'm sure. And this has only got, well, it's got less than 800 miles. I haven't done much today, so it's had its first service. So you're saving money on the list price of a new bike, and then you're obviously not paying the on-the-road costs and the first service. So somebody has basically ran it in for you, so you save a little bit of money. So from that point of view, yes, I think this is a very nice option. What I would say is, because it's just in that awkward engine size, you've got to have, well, you can't be 17 to ride it, you've got to be older, your license has got to be different, and a lot of people with those licenses, they don't want to go from a 125 to a 150 or a 160 or a 170. They go from a 125 to a 500 or bigger. So from that point of view, I don't think it's a massive step up from a 125cc. However, if you're like myself, if you're an older rider who's been riding for years and you're looking to downsize, or you're looking to add a scooter to your bike collection for just an easy rider to just jump on and nip to the shops on, then yeah, it's a brilliant option. Price wise, it's a decent buy. So yeah, I think I'm going to have to end it on that, really. If it's going to suit people and it's not going to suit others, whether because of legal requirements or engine size. But yeah, it's a nice thing. If you want it, it's at Into Moto. I will, however, just stress they sell a lot of these. I'll try and get the video out as soon as I possibly can, so you've got a first shot. If you do like this bike, you've got a first shot of it still being in there. So I'll put a link in the description, but for now it's raining, so it's bye from me. Laters.